Congratulations, Bev.
Thank you, Mary.
We are very honored to have you a part of the 2021 Silver Beaver class. What an outstanding luck that we have.
I'm very honored. Thank you.
No problem. I am so excited because I've had the opportunity of learning some things about you that I did not know. So what I'd like you to do is to share a few things with me, if you don't mind. I understand that one of your wood badge tickets was to become, if you want to further
lifeguard.
this, a lifeguard. I'm a former lifeguard, former swimming instructor, so
Yeah.
I never knew this about you. Share.
Yeah. So in 2014, I took wood badge, and most of my ticket goals revolved around aquatic safety, including that I decided to become a BSA lifeguard and a Red Cross lifeguard. So I completed the Red Cross shortly after the course, and the following summer at Many Point, I did the BSA lifeguard. And then a couple weeks after Many Point, I had made arrangements to join the International Service Team staff for the 2015 World Jamboree in Japan. And at the very first meeting that we came to, with the adults that were there to do different jobs, I was supposed to be working in registration for this event that had 50,000 people from around the world coming. And at that first meeting, they were walking around saying, if you are a lifeguard, if you might be a lifeguard, if you
Know how to swim.
if you know how to swim, if you used to be a lifeguard, we want you to change your registration and sign up to be one of the lifeguards, because the camp itself was waterfront on the ocean, and there were a number of different swimming venues where they needed to have many, many lifeguards available, because we also had a lot of scouts there that had very limited or no swimming experience being around the water. So my wood badge ticket led to me being a lifeguard in Japan.
What kind of experience was that? Was it just absolutely the prime position to have?
It was hard work.
I know.
So we got on a bus. We got up at 5 and got breakfast and got on a bus by 6 a.m. And they would take us. Sometimes we were at different locations each day. So there were a couple different beachfront locations, and
Which can make it difficult.
Yes. And the tides made a lot of things challenging as well. But we would have to set up a safe swim area like what we do with BSA scouting. And then we would take shifts, and it was extremely hot. So well over 110 degrees many days.
Water was your best friend, and I'm talking the drink kind.
Yes, we were drinking lots of water, but it was also nice to be able to get wet. And it was a great job to work at.
That has led to additional positions here locally, even when it comes to water
Yeah.
sports.
So, beyond working as a lifeguard there, my son came up through Scouts and became an Eagle Scout, and then we became aware of Sea Scouts. There are a couple Sea Scout ships in our council, and I ended up, or he ended up joining, and I got involved with that. So we have actually spent a lot of time on the water, learning about boating safety, and both of my kids are active swimmers. Both of my kids are Eagle Scouts, and they are lifeguards, and they know how to be safe on the water.
Speaking of Sea Scout, you have a knot on your shirt.
Oh, I do.
Do you want to share what that knot? Because I know I've
Yes.
talked to knots with a few people.
Yeah.
Do you want to share a knot that most people don't know about?
This one is for Sea Badge. A lot of people are familiar with Wood Badge, but there is a Sea Scout version of it that's called Sea Badge, and you can earn this. Officially, they have a different recognition now, but this is the older style recognition for attending and completing your Sea Badge ticket.
So you've done that as well as Wood Badge?
Yes.
And you've served on Wood Badge staff. I know that as a fact. And that's interesting because I never knew that Sea Badge had just a knot. Tell me something. I know that you are very involved with special needs and special needs scouting, but you also play a big role in your community for international exchange students, correct?
I did last year when the Rotary Club in our town, Rogers, had their first exchange student from South Korea. I was the exchange officer for our Rotary Club in
Right.
facilitating placing that student in a couple different homes through the school year and making sure that his needs were taken care of at the school and during the year with the families.
Wow, thank you.
Well, and I'll say thank you to the other people in Rotary that are committed to that program and making it work.
That is amazing. Thank you for that. I understand too is because you are a very active homeschool mom. Am I right on that? But you're also active in the school system as a part of a PTO.
I used to be.
Okay.
Yes. My kids are, my daughter, my younger child is a senior in high school this year. So both of my kids are taking classes at Anoka Ramsey Community College. My son did homeschool through middle school and high school. And so I was very active in homeschooling while he was doing that, and involved with various homeschool groups like a homeschool band and homeschool co-op groups that would teach different kinds of courses. And that was there are great resources around for homeschoolers where it's not like the kid is just sitting at their own house studying a book. There's great resources to get out in the community, and actually even merit badges can be a great resource.
I was going to ask you that. So how does scouting play a big part in that educational aspect?
My son was really into doing merit badges, and we were able to facilitate that through some of his homeschool classes. So, for example, he did a metalworking class, and the person who was teaching that was totally accommodating to register as a merit badge counselor, and what she was doing in the class lined up beautifully with the metalwork merit badge, which in addition to that, she was willing to do, what was the other one? Metalworking and welding. She did special work with him to do the welding requirements.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. When we talk about things at home, I understand that you're taking up a new hobby.
Yes, the former Sea Scout skipper of ship 9248, she had an old violin, and one Christmas, maybe 4 years ago, we were driving in a car somewhere and listening to Christmas music, and I said something about how I would love to learn the violin. And at the next meeting, she showed up and had one for me to borrow. And yeah, so I have a hand-me-down violin, and I play it a little bit many days now. Not well.
But you're trying.
But I am learning, and yeah, I frequently will tell my kids, name a tune, and they name it, and then I try to play it.
Oh, that's fantastic. You're playing by ear.
Yes.
I love it. That is outstanding. So tell me, you do have family members still in the Netherlands, right?
Yes.
Are they involved in scouting?
As far as I know, they aren't. But in 2013, I took my kids out of school, and we enrolled my daughter in an international school there for 3 months, and my son officially began homeschooling at that point. And we got involved in a local troop that's down the road from where their grandparents live. So we were there for 3 months, and my son went to weekly scout meetings in the Netherlands in Almelo. It was called the Kennedy Scout Group. Fantastic experience. I think both for the kids there that had, a foreign kid in their troop for a little while, and for Matthew, who got to experience weekly meetings with them and making friends there, and going camping with them. It was great.
Wow, you guys have really had some great international experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Did you not just recently serve as a assistant scoutmaster for the National Jamboree?
In 2017,
Yes.
I was an associate advisor for our contingent from our council that attended the 2017 National Jamboree.
Okay.
Another fantastic experience. Our particular crew was only half-sized, and so we had the extra benefit of having a couple people from Australia and a few people from the Philippines join in our direct group of 36, 40 people campsite. So we got to know them really well. They got to know us, and we functioned as one unit while we were there.
So you have scouters that you can contact and scout throughout the world.
Yes.
wherever you go, you will probably run into somebody that you know.
It is great. And I would say, like, there was somebody I met in 2015 at the World Jamboree that was from the Philippines, and she almost had been part of that group that was coming, that we got assigned to work with. And, yes, we have connections all over the world, for sure.
Another part of your scouting experience that I'm aware of is been a part of Honors Weekend.
Yes.
Can you share what you feel has been the most strongest memory of Honors Weekend as a leader there?
One of the things I've really liked about it, which is just a small part of the Honor Weekend, is about, it's an event where we work on teaching the youth manners, etiquette, and protocols. And one of the things that I enjoy the most, and I know you do too, is at the end of the weekend, we oftentimes talk about different faiths and have opportunities for people to share about faiths that they might not be familiar with already. And so sometimes we've had people that are scouts that are Jewish that will speak about their Jewish faith and be willing to answer questions to other scouts who don't know much about that, or to have someone who's Muslim come and speak about that. And one of the things I appreciate the most about scouting is that reverence is a fundamentally important component, but that we're not all focused on only one faith, and that we practice our scouting and have an openness to allowing people to do that their way too. So I've really appreciated the focus on the reverence component that we've had all the different years we've had Honor Weekend. And it was a great opportunity for the scouts to see that and to learn what that's about, and to break down barriers or insecurities or fears about people that are different from ourselves.
That's something that I've been hearing today about, no matter where you are in the world, is how our youth can come together, and as different, and from our language to our religion, as you've brought out, no matter what, we all come together under the same cause, and we have just know with those kids in charge, we do have a brighter future. Mm-hmm. Okay, I got one for you.
Okay.
How has scouting, as a leader, has it been any different watching you and developing your son as an Eagle as it has been watching and developing and working with your daughter, who is also an Eagle Scout?
Yes. In the case of my two kids, my son is on the autism spectrum, and so helping him through his scouting experience involved a lot of proactive involvement from me. But with my daughter, she's very independent, and so it was a completely different experience. With my son, he'd been in Scouts since he was a tiger cub and came up through all of that. With my daughter, she joined as soon as she was old enough to become a venturing scout, and then joined a troop as soon as she was able to join one 2 years ago. But yeah, she worked very independently, and she is not, it's just a different experience. So
it can be done both ways.
Yes, and in the same family. And I guess like the 2 cents I would have to say about that is it's sometimes hard to like look at how a family is functioning in supporting their scout. And a lot of times we need to give grace to people who do things a different way than the way we would do it, because we don't know their family circumstances and what makes their way right for them.
Nice. One last question. Tell me about the cool bus.
Oh, the cool bus. Well, one of the reasons I like being in Scouts is because I like working with youth. And one of the reasons I like working with youth is because back when I was a kid, I had the great benefit of being in a fantastic youth group with my church. And we had a school bus that we would use to get to camp or get to wherever we were going for all of our youth group activities. And it was probably my senior year. I remember a friend of mine and I were doing a service project to wash the bus in the parking lot at the church. And we had the great idea to scrape off a couple of the letters where it says school bus. So we took off the letters to make it the cool bus. And I mean, it was just two of us. We did it, and it was great. And
I love it. That was not what I was expecting. So you've always been on a cool bus.
yes,
You're the cool bus girl. I love it. Thank you so much for all that you do for Scouting. And thank you for being here today. And what an honor it is to have you a part of the Silver Beaver class this year.
well, thank you, Mary.